Right, I told you I was going to bring you some of the best content creators, course creators in the game, in my opinion, on this podcast. And today's guest is a legend. He has over 17 years marketing experience. He has won the Greek Entrepreneurship Award twice. He's been awarded top 32 entrepreneurs by the US Department of State, but it's super impressive. He has worked as a marketing manager for huge companies like Procter & Gamble, Diageo for 10 years. He now is the founder of Simply Digital. If you haven't seen one of his TikToks or Reels where he's giving you the top 3 softwares, websites that improve your digital marketing skills, you are sleeping under a rock. He has over 295,000 followers on Instagram, a staggering 2.1 million followers on TikTok. And in the last 12 months, he has had 4 billion views on his videos. Please welcome Konstantinos Sinodinios. Right, so Konstantinos, thanks so much for joining me today. I'm super excited to talk to you. The reason why I'm excited is I've been following you for ages, like ages and ages, and I kept seeing you reappear, and it's almost like you've just inspired a whole load of cool, because you was the first that was doing your type of TikToks for me that I saw. And now there's like a whole queue of people that have jumped on that kind of wave because it's obviously got traction, but they still do not have the same spice and energy that you bring to them. So I would love to dive into kind of a bit of your background and how you got started on your journey, really, in building your personal brand.
So first of all, thanks for inviting me. It's an honor, and I have been following you since ages. I remember when I started, taking Instagram a bit more seriously. I was inspired by Christos Nikas, Danny Walker, some guys that were really great in the carousel game back then, that was dominating the Instagram marketing community. So I was like, that looks interesting. Maybe I should put some more time into that and, see if I can be better in storytelling, combining it with some great visuals that was really impressive back then. But I realized that was taking me so much time, the creation of the carousels and everything. Although it was great because it worked in terms of saves, sharing, etc., it was a pain in the ass for me. And for me, I knew that the strongest part of my personal brand could be video potentially. So that's something that an intro that I wanted to share. So I'm a marketeer the last 20 years. I'm not a creator. This is one of my caps. So the main hat that I wear is an entrepreneur. I'm a digital entrepreneur. I'm a marketeer the last 20 years. I have worked in big companies like Procter & Gamble and Diageo as a marketing manager for 10 years. And then I realized that, everything is going digital. The game is going to be online. And I had zero clue back then what exactly was happening in this universe. But I really knew that, I had to inform myself. I have to educate myself. I have to jump into that. I was a geek since I was a kid. The first kid that I had a laptop in my PC, actually, back then in my era, in my school. So I was the first one to have a PC. And I was really excited always about, digital stuff, online websites. I had my first income on eBay like 15 years ago, 25 years ago as a kid. So I started, flipping items on eBay back then.
Wow.
So I was genuinely excited about the whole thing, happening in front of the screen. And I started with TikTok, experimenting on, creating short videos, sharing everything I know, sharing the things that I had in my bookmarks, different tools, different websites that I've used as a marketeer. And it turned out to be very successful. So TikTok blew up. I reached 2 million in a year, 2 million followers. And that guided me, on what exactly is content creation today in 2022, what works, how people react to that, how attention is being transformed, because marketing is all about attention. That's the currency. That's what we are fighting for. And you need to be able to understand and cope up with what's happening in terms of attention wise, how people give you attention, how you can grab attention, how this changes, So yeah, video is my thing. I love it, and I try to to optimize it and adjust it, and find new ways to be contemporary, and have people getting excited about what they see.
What you're seeing, yeah. So there's so much to unpack there. So the first thing that jumped out to me, like when you was younger, was the fact that you was just like I wouldn't say obsessed maybe, but like you was just drawn to the kind of like computers and digital. What was that instinct? Was your parents like entrepreneurial? Were they pushing you in that direction, or is it just something that you just intuition? Like, do you remember?
Yeah. Well, actually, it wasn't anything coming from my parents. So both of my parents were employees. My father was a bank employee. Since he was retired, my mother was working in a big company as an accountant. So nothing to do with marketing, nothing to do with entrepreneurship. But my mother was really involved into the process of bringing me a PC early on, helping me understand what's happening, what is this thing it does, etc. I loved gaming. The first thing that I did, of course, was gaming back then. I had my first game was Prince of Persia. I remember on a PC back then.
Yeah.
And then when internet came, and I realized how I can download music, visit websites, start chatting with people from all over the world, like MSN, the first chats that we had back then. So that was really exciting without knowing why. I was really excited about everything related to gadgets, technology, etc.
Nice. And then you went into, did you know you was going to go into marketing, or did you kind of like stumble your way into marketing?
No, not back then. But I knew that, I was always creative. So I used to play the piano for many, many years. So the first natural talent that I had as a person was music.
Mm-hmm.
So I knew that, whatever I will do in my life, and I had this kind of, influence from my parents about business and economy and financials. I love, things that can really generate money. I love this kind of concept as a kid. So for me, that it was pretty clear that I would go towards this direction, but I didn't know what marketing is. That in school, you don't have this kind of education.
No.
You don't learn anything useful for your adult life. So it was something that came up to me like a natural evolution of who I am, and looking inside. And that's what I always say to people, whenever they what I want to do, what is my main talent. I have no clue. I mean, look inside you. What is the discussions with your friends that make your eyes sparkle, or you feel excited about? Take the most real estate in your thoughts every single day. What are those things? If you look inside and you pay attention to yourself, you're going to figure it out. It cannot be. There's no such thing as a person without interest, or without some kind of passion that gets most of their attention and their excitement. So that's how I pretty much chose marketing as my thing, and it stayed like that since the beginning.
You know what? It's so true, this, right? Because I had a friend come to me recently, and they were like, how do I do these things? Or and I was just like, you have a voice that you're replaying to yourself all the time. You have these stories, good and bad, right? But then you also know when you get excited about where most people's attention goes is to the negative voice, and the positive voice, or the things that make them feel good or excited, or they don't lean into that. They'll lean the other way. And I'm exactly like you. Like anything good that has come from my career or my life, I've always had I'll say it and I'll feel it, and I'll be like, and you lean into that voice, and then you go and explore, right? And it's like, what do you do next? That people don't go and explore. They just write it off. They don't go. They don't want to take those first two steps because they're thinking about the full, like the end product. It's like, no, just take two steps and then you'll get more excitement, and then you get more excitement, and then next thing you're no. So yeah, I fully.
I really believe that most people feel guilty about this inner voice in their head. I think that this voice really contradicts to the social voice, or the stereotypic voice that they have been, listening to since they were kids. What you need to do. I'm a kid that I was raised in Greece. My parents were business people, so I would go to business, and I'm expected to do this, get a job like I did in a big company. That's the dream. But then the inner voice came in and told me, you know, Konstantinos, my friend, this is not for you. You see, you're struggling. You're pretending to be something else. The last 10 years, this animal inside you is hungry. Take it out, right? So most people, I believe, that they have this kind of voice, but they choose to ignore it. They choose to tell it, you know, shut the fuck up. This is not what I'm supposed to do, because they believe that they're supposed to do something else. But as I say always to people that, you know, they're afraid to start, listen to that voice, start feeding it. As you said, you don't have to see the whole mountain. Start seeing, you know, the first village and start climbing your first hill, and things gonna figure it out later. It's magical how things, you know, step by step change. The landscape, your vision, the things that you thought you knew, the things that you want to do are changing every step of the way. So just take the first step. You don't have to see the whole mountain.
Yes, true, man. Good advice. Very good advice. So when you left your jobs or your job to then start your business, was you like, did you take a big risk, or was you kind of like, you created a buffer? Was you like in a comfortable position to then do that? Or did you go, no, I've had enough, like I'm going for it? Like what was the position there? Because so many people are faced with that like crossroad, right? They're stuck. They feel stuck in their head, right? This is the story they're telling. And don't get me wrong, people have kids, partners, responsibilities. Tough, right? It's all of those things you do have to take into account. So, but you know, what you did at that time might help.
Yeah. So for me, I always knew that, you know, there's gonna be this kind of entrepreneurial journey at some point of my life that I'm gonna explore. And the older I grew, I knew that, you know, the pressure is bigger, because, you know, I'm building an important career. You know, the older you grow, as you said, there are other parameters that might come in your life that, you know, you don't have the flexibility to do whatever you want without taking into consideration other stuff, other parameters. Your expenses are getting higher normally as you grow older. So the risk is higher. You know, it's not easy for you to say, okay, fuck it, I'm going rogue, I'm going my way. It's not as easy as it is for students or for people in their 20s. So back then I was like 32, 33. I was already almost a decade in the corporate universe. And I had some ideas about, you know, the startup industry. So I was seeing what's happening, you know, people getting investments, people starting their own technology, things, people trying to change the world. You know, social media platforms were huge back then. And, you know, something was really telling me inside, you know, maybe you should explore that. Maybe you should try something. Maybe some of the ideas that you have daily, because I have so many ideas as a person, you should, you know, put it down on a piece of paper, find a co-founder and see what happens, you know. So at the beginning, I was like, okay, maybe I should start something as a side hustle. I was an athlete. I was a pro athlete myself for 10, 12 years. So I was really excited about the fact that, you know, bridging my two passions together, sports and business, and try to see something, you know, within this field. I had an idea, and at that point of time, I said, okay, maybe it's not a good idea to leave your job, do it as a side hustle. But then I realized that this is not realistic, because I really believe that, first of all, you're going to be lazy because you don't have really, you know, this need. You're not with the back on the wall saying, you know what, I don't have any other choice. I have to make this work. I'm not, you know, I don't have the salary coming in my bank account every single month, no matter what, because I have my main job. So you don't have this kind of survival instinct coming in, saying to you, you know what, there are no excuses, there are no safety nets. It's you and the world. Make it happen. And working on your own for the first time is difficult. You don't have a boss. You don't have somebody, you know, chasing you to do stuff. You don't have to deliver Monday morning or Friday afternoon. It's up to you. If you don't want to deliver, nobody's going to do it for you. And there was a proposal from my company back then in Diageo that I was a marketing manager for Johnny Walker. I was in UK at that moment.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. And they told me, you know what, your position is no longer available. You need to go to Singapore in the global team. I
Mm.
say, no fucking way. I'm gonna
But how convenient that happened at that time, right? When
Yeah,
you're like,
it
that's
was.
what. There's always a sign. There's always a
Yeah,
sign or
it was
something. A
exactly the
decision.
sign that I was looking for.
Yeah.
The idea was already in my head, so I had
Mm-hmm.
something like, a draft mock-up on a piece of paper about what I want to build, the startup that I built back then. And I said, okay, maybe this is the time. I had, some kind of agreement to take some money from the company that was exactly the salaries of 18 months,
Mm-hmm.
something like that. So I was okay. I have a buffer. I have something to build on, and maybe I should focus on trying to monetize through this time.
Mm.
So I did. I said goodbye. Best moment of my life. Totally free. Felt like I left a cage or something. So really exciting. The part of designing and trying to create something out of nothing, for me, is the most exciting, the most fulfilling thing that you can do, but is also the sexiest part of the entrepreneurial journey. After that, reality kicks in, issues come in, co-founder stuff, how the product will work, how you're going to raise investment, how you're going to have a recurring income that will justify you staying in that course. So it's becoming messier. Entrepreneurship is not, an 18-month period or a 2-year period. It's a long ball game. So you need to be prepared for that. I wasn't prepared for that. I saw, the bumpy part of the road, failures. I couldn't monetize as fast as I could, as I wanted. I had some massive success at the beginning. So I won 2 times the Greek Entrepreneurship Award with my startup, which was a social media for athletes, discovery talent platform. We won a big competition in the US. We got some investment that, the expectations were really high. And then the part of the revenues that we're expecting didn't come. So I had to find an alternative plan. It was me either going back to my corporate job, trying to find something else, or doing something else to generate income. And that's how Simply Digital came in. It was a contingency plan in reality.
How casting yourself back, like, how did that feel? Like at that time, like when you was, because obviously you had the success, winning awards, taking on people's money, like how, because I am ridiculously hard on myself, like almost detrimentally, like stops progress. I know, I'm fully aware of it. So I take losses really bad. I don't stay down, but I take them like personally. Like if a client's campaign is totally not scalable, messes up, or where I feel it, I'm like, this is not so. But I've never had that type of loss. So I'm wondering, like, where was you at that point? Did you take it hard? Did you like just jump back on the wagon, go again? Like, what was your mindset at that time?
It was very hard, man. It was very hard. I mean, I was pretty much depressed. I didn't want to date anybody for a couple of years. That's big. I was 35, 34. I didn't really feel like, I want to do anything else that making that fucking thing work. Or at some point of time, I didn't have any more energy to invest. Again, because when you lose momentum in the entrepreneurial universe, especially when it's about startups, and startups is all about the initial traction, making it work, the MVP, getting investment, staying the course to meet the milestones for the investors. It's a very, very stressful game, okay, after you get out of the sexy period that we said. So this was tough for me because, I felt like, I was also a failure. I couldn't make it work. Why I couldn't make it work? Am I missing something? I'm not good enough. So as you said, I took it personally because I am like that. I'm a person that, takes it personally. I don't get excuses. I don't try to find excuses. I always blame me. But this, turned out to be my fuel towards finding a solution. Like I said before, I was with my back on the wall. There was no other option, just me going forward, trying to find a way to pay my rent, avoid going back, which for me would be a loss, a defeat.
Yeah.
And I said, okay, let's focus a bit. What can you do great right now? You're good in marketing. You're good in branding. You can, tomorrow, if you launch something, you can help some businesses do something better than what they do already. So let's try to create something like, a marketing agency, a consultant business, something like that. So that's how I launched Simply Digital, which initially was a marketplace. So I wasn't um, planning to get involved as an agency or as a marketeer, getting clients, etc. I pretty much hated that. So I wanted to be the middleman, a marketplace like Fiverr, something like that. I created Simply Digital. Next day, I had a couple of customers. Next day. So the proof of concept was like that. I just, made a post about that on LinkedIn. I had many ex-colleagues and many people, in my network that, trusted me as a professional. That's why I always say that, personal brand wins because they trust you. And next day I had a couple of customers. And this thing, slowly and steadily started growing. I had some tough periods when, I didn't have to pay my first employee because, things, started, going down again. But then with the video and my focus on personal branding, things changed completely.
So you create the marketplace just because I think everyone likes to have things lined up. They want to make it perfect before they start, right? Like they want everything, want to have the perfect website, and the biggest thing is to sell. Like just learn how to sell. Get a couple of customers first before you have anything. Like you can pre-sell anything just based on a relationship. Like everyone wants to overcomplicate things. So you did that, right? You leveraged the relationships you had that you built up over time. You put something out and said, hey, listen, who needs this? And you had clients like that. And so did you then hired people to do the delivery of those things or like the services, or how did it work?
So I had my lessons from my previous entrepreneurial effort with my startup when I spent tons of money creating a perfect product in my head. That was only in my head, perfect. So that, gave me a very tough lesson that said exactly what you said. MVP should be a Google Deck, a Google Sheet. Could be something that you should be able to create within a couple of days maximum. Get the traction, get it out in the market, get some results. Especially today, this is the easiest thing ever. 7-8 years ago, you had to invest a bit more to get an MVP. But today we have so many tools, so many freebies. I mean, it's a joke to get, something working in a weekend. So this is what I did. And I said to myself, okay, no more complicated stuff, no more complicated messages. And that's how Simply Digital came also as an idea, because this is something that represents myself. I'm a person who likes, simplicity, simply buying stuff, cutting out the fluff, especially in marketing, that we have a lot of that. And I was like, okay, no bullshit, Simply Digital, straight to the point. Let's give to people what they want. I knew what they wanted. I created the website literally overnight with a friend of mine in his house. Next day, the website was ready. I just posted that on LinkedIn. I focused on a couple of services that was back then really useful for people. So like, let us digitally transform your business in a weekend. Like, we're going to do Google Business for you, run your first ad, create a simple landing page and your first 5 posts on social media. Like a package of offerings, boom, next day, a couple of clients.
Easy.
That was it.
Yeah, easy to do as well, right? Like easy to deliver on. Yeah, okay, so exactly. so then your trajectory was maybe like a little bit rocky, because I'm guessing you was like trying to and you was hustling to get the clients. Where did it click to go, right, I need to double down on creating content? Like when did that happen?
So at the beginning, I started serving Greece only. So Simply Digital was a pure Greek digital marketing agency with Greek content on my pages, with a Greek YouTube channel that came later. And I was focusing on a specific demographic of businesses here in Greece, which was small, medium businesses, which is like, 80% of the total pie, but they're digitally wise were nowhere, in the caves. Okay. So I was like, this is a low hanging fruit. Let's focus on that. Then I realized that, coming from a professional career of 10 years in the corporate world with, in big companies, etc., I realized that this gap of me talking to the professional directly could never be bridged. Never. We were literally talking another language, different expectations. I was coming from a very professional environment. I knew how to be professional, how to be to run a project from A to Z. people, I couldn't communicate with people. It was impossible. It was impossible. I was fighting. I was trying to. I was, becoming the fool in this collaboration. I was always, going back
Your
a
fault.
step.
You've done right. And the thing is with that, right? Like, and I know this from an agency point of view, because we used to serve gym owners, right? Boutique gym owners. We're talking like 600, 700 pounds, but just volume, right? We get as many. And there's, it's very, when you, no matter what you do at that level, at volume, if you don't have like, and you're the owner of the agency and you have to deal with those conversations, man, it wears you down. It wears you down, because if you're doing lead gen, or because they want sales and leads, right? They want money. And a lot of the stuff, if they're not getting that, if they've internal systems that are broken or don't have a salesperson, it's your fault. And they don't have the cash flow or the marketing budget to sustainably pay. So it's coming out of their back pocket. And then when it's coming out of their back pocket, it's painful for them. No matter what, like the moment they start getting anything wrong is painful for them. And I always say, like, even with course creators, like, choose the fulfillment. Be careful how you choose the business you want to serve, like the people you want to serve, because what's most important is your lifestyle. Like, how do you want to live with this business or with this course? Because if you choose the wrong thing and you then feel tired, it's the worst feeling. Like, it's so painful, because you feel like you just can't win. It's a nightmare.
Yeah, it's an equation of different things and combination of different stuff. If you have people to work with you and help, if you have really made your value proposition very clear, what you offer to people, is if the demographic that you're serving is the right one, or you should be targeting another audience. There are many things, and if you're good for the job, not everybody is for everything. I realized that through the time that I don't want to do the agency thing anymore. So I have a team right now that takes care of everything. I have the agency because it's something that I need to do. It's a good revenue stream for me and my business and what I want to do. But on the side, I do other stuff. I'm building a brand that is something beyond the agency thing. Is a digital marketing brand that stands for academy, for education, for fun, for partnerships with keynote speeches, many different things happening under one umbrella. But this didn't come from day one. As I said, I started with the first hill that I saw in front of me, and I said, okay, I will take this. This is the low-hanging fruit. I will build on that. Then I realized that if I want to differentiate in Greece, I need to build on me and my CV. So I said, okay, this is a personal brand focus, definitely. So I started creating videos on YouTube, in my Greek YouTube channel back then, trying to address sophisticated questions that people had. That brought me clients. That was my best lead generation machine back then. My long content, my long form.
What year was this? How long ago?
My first YouTube video on my Greek channel should be something like 4 years ago.
Okay, cool. So not too long ago. Okay.
Not too long.
Yeah.
But it feels too long because there are so many things that changed and I adapted since then. A couple of years in the Greek field, I said, this is it. I'm done with the Greek audience. I hated the professionalism of Greek people here in Greece. I hated the attitude. They didn't pay you. They wanted to pay after the job. They didn't pay enough. And I said, okay, fuck it. I can do that in English. I will serve people internationally. I have network outside Greece. So I'll give it a try. I'll give it a try for a year and see what happens, And that's how I shifted my content in English. And 2 years later, I was the best decision I ever made.
I can imagine. I can imagine. So, right. So you said, right, I'm not doing Greece. I'm gonna widen the net, right? I'm gonna help people because I can, right? So then you was looking at what was going on Instagram, I take it, because you mentioned you was looking at the carousels and people blowing up, but then you tried that, but the timing of that took too long. And you was like, I know I could do video because I've done it on YouTube.
Yes. Exactly.
Is that when you went, oh, what's TikTok going on? Or like where? Because I was so late on going on to TikTok, and obviously I regret it now, right? And I was so late getting on video. I was so late doing reels. I'm so late on so many things, but you was at the time like, no, damn, I'm going to go there. Probably around the same time the carousels were kicking off, right? So talk me through that. like decision where you was going to put your attention?
Yeah. So I really enjoyed the carousel game. And to be honest, for me, it was like a psychotherapy at the beginning. So when I started creating carousels, it was probably my most depressed period in my life, my most depressed. And for me, the carousel creation was something like a psychotherapy. I was sitting down, writing down an idea, was really excited to make this, a seamless kind of carousel. You know how it goes. You've been there. I was really excited to deliver something. But I saw that, the ratio, the ROI of me putting the work towards, getting results out of that after 6 months, it was not the one that I was expecting.
So you've done 6 months of it? You've done 6 months?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
I did.
So like you put the time in.
At least 6 months. I had some results, some audience build up. So going from 3K, because I shifted also from Greek to English, to 4K took me like 4 months. 3 months. It was ridiculous.
It was painful that first.
It was painful.
It was so painful.
Yeah,
I know.
Yeah. It was, it's ridiculous. But still, I learned a lot. I optimized my messaging. I saw what is my brand voice. I changed my colors, my brand visual, so I made it more vibrant, more the neon part, etc. And then I said, okay, malaka, as we say in Greek, asshole.
Yeah.
Why you're struggling with visuals and graphics when the thing that you can do the best and bring out your personality is video? Why are you struggling with that? Because somebody told you that carousel is the only way? No, it's not the only way. And then I was seeing TikTok going wild in the first lockdown. I had it in my head and I was like, are you ready to give it a try? It's a kids platform, everybody's dancing. Do I have a space there? Is something that I can do? Am I not afraid, being hated and being, finger pointed, like, what are you doing 40 years old here? What are you trying to prove? I said, fuck it, I will do it, And the second lockdown, I said, okay, I will give it a try. Even my girlfriend back then was mocking me. Like, what are you doing on TikTok? We have all those social media. Now you're going to have a TikTok as well. I said, okay, I will give it a try. And when I say I give it a try as a person, it means that for 3, 4, 5, 6 months, I'll stay consistent to that daily. Is it theme? Is it my diet? Is it whatever? I'll stay consistent for a 6 month period and see what happens. So I started creating content, understanding the culture of the platform, understanding how people consume content, how they produce content, what goes well, what doesn't go well. If I can fit within this equation, and I found my sweet spot. I changed this stuff, of course. I adjusted my messaging, I adjusted my style, and a couple of months later, I got my first viral video, like 500,000 or something like that.
How many times was you posting a week? Was you posting every day? Was you posting
every day? Every day.
Once a day.
Once a day,
and just trying different stuff.
And I stick to that since then.
Okay, so you've only ever posted once a day.
Only once a day. Only some days I haven't posted. I mean, after the first year, but for the first year, I posted at least one video per day. That was it. Nothing more, nothing less. And a couple of months later, I got my first results, and I got excited. I was like, "What's going on here?" I got my first branded partnership back then.
So what? Someone reached out to you and said they wanted to promote something. And is this because your style is very unique, right? But it was at the time, like everyone else. But I still think your style, how you do it, is unique, because most of the people jumped on the bandwagon of doing software. Like here's free, free hidden websites. Loads of people have done that, but they don't do it quite how you do it. Yeah, and then I want to talk about the whole structure of how you do those TikToks to get people's attention. But back then, was you just doing the same thing, or was you doing a variety of different videos to see what's going to stick? Was you doing like walkthroughs? Yeah. So you was doing one a day, every day for 3 months, 6 months, sorry, and you was committed to the time frame and the consistency, and you was going to look back and see what's worked. But you actually got your first results within 2 months.
Yeah, exactly. The first idea actually was, as I told you, I had a YouTube channel. So my experience with YouTube was me sitting in front of the camera and talking about a main keyword, right? You know how digital marketing works. We know the keywords. We can track questions that people do online. And I was like, okay, I will try to answer those questions. So with that mentality, I was like, okay, I will create shorter versions of those videos and see what happens. So if I have like a 5-6 minute videos on YouTube that perform well, I'll try to make it 30-40 seconds. So the highlights of that, right? Then I was like, okay, maybe I can transform an article that I wrote some time ago to a short video.
Yeah.
So that's how I started experimenting. Some videos didn't perform well. And I saw that people, were getting excited about numerical stuff. 3 websites, this, 2 things that you need to avoid. And pretty much everything that works on the title logics, how you build an intriguing title, trigger curiosity of people, evoke emotions, give a promise that you deliver at the end of the video, stuff like that. I was a marketeer. It was easy for me to do it. I didn't start from zero, right? But I adjusted it. I saw what people wanted. I made it more exciting. I made it more theatrical. Even the voice and bringing the microphone towards my mouth was tactical. Because my voice sounded different when I had the microphone here, and it sounded a bit scarier. It was like a persona. The accent helped, the Greek accent, and I ignored the thousands of messages and comments, the hateful comments, and the ironic messages that what are you doing, how you look like that, or how you sound like that, it's ridiculous, learn English, fix your accent, do whatever. I ignored that. I got angry so many times, but I said, okay, fuck it, focus on your work, focus on the results that you see, and it worked.
And you know what, like, so many people hopefully will listen to this or will watch you be from a different part of the world with an accent, right? And English is not their first accent. And that will be the reason why they don't get on video or they don't talk. Where you've gone, no, I'm going to make that an actual reason for them to lean in. I'm going to put that to my advantage. Because even Christos, I remember speaking to Christos years ago, and he was like, I don't want to do video, my accent, this. And he's from Greece. Like, literally, he could have done the similar thing with his voice. If he just like switched the lens that he was seeing that through, he would have, well, he still does amazing content, by the way, but you get the point. It's like, switch the lens. If you're telling yourself that lie, which it is, like, how can you use that to your advantage, right? How can you stand out of the crowd? Because there's going to be a way to use that to your advantage.
I was unique suddenly.
Exactly.
Most people, most marketing influencers so far on YouTube, for example, were people that were doing pretty much the same things with a typical American accent, right? And you were expecting, that to see this kind of character online. You didn't expect to see that guy, the muscle guy with a head, with a deep voice, etc., and the funny Greek accent talking about websites. So this became like a character, like, I don't know, like Arnold Schwarzenegger was for the movies part. So whatever you feel that is standing out in a funny way could be your strong point, could be your unique identity.
Yeah.
So
interesting.
Yeah, don't do that to yourself. Don't put barriers to yourself that don't exist. People gonna love things about you that you don't expect.
So listen, here's what I'm commit. If you feel like you're gonna be, there is attention on a certain platform, which I still think it is TikTok. Like, commit to a certain period of time, regardless of the result. Look at the commitment of time and the consistency, and then look back on what you're learning rather than looking for because people just give up too quick, right? There's like 3 weeks in, that's it. Like, not got any results. We're talking like 6 months to a year, and then look back. Here's what I want to know, because this is actually, someone asked me this and I didn't have an answer because I haven't done any brand deals at all. So it sounds to me like you've got multiple income streams, right? You've got the agency, you've got your courses, which I want to talk to you about. You've got brand deals as well, which I know nothing about. So there's multiple revenue streams coming in. So let's talk about the brand deals just very briefly. So naturally, you're talking about websites, you're talking about tools, you're talking about softwares. My friend came to me, he's just hit 100K. So he's got like this thing on TikTok where they can do brand partnerships. He's like, how do I monetize this thing? Like, how do I get brands to talk to me? How do I talk to them? How do I get these deals? And I'm like, dude, I genuinely don't know, but I know a man that does. So when I speak to him, I'm going to ask him. So that's my question. How do you get these deals?
So this is something that I cover intensively on my course because it's it's a course that I have documented exactly what I did to start my TikTok, to find my identity, to be intentional in the creation of my identity so I can really get to the point that I wanted, which was grow my business, build my personal brand, but also become a marketing platform myself where people can come and fit as advertisers. Because the reality, Danny, right now, and you know that very well because you're a marketeer, is that we as creators were becoming an alternative, a very attractive and strong alternative of Facebook and Google as a marketing platform, right? Right now, the acquisition cost on these platforms is astronomical, is the highest ever. And it's going to keep climbing because that's how they make money. It's a monopoly. Guess what? There's no other way. They're not going back, right? So the alternative way for people to advertise is building word of mouth and jumping on what right now is grabbing people's attention. We, the creators. So if you build a massive marketing platform with massive audience on different platforms, you diverse that, but you also have a specific direction and a very clear identity that it's a no-brainer for people to say, okay, I want to relate with Danny. He's showcasing, I don't know, Amazon products. So if I have an Amazon product, it's a no-brainer. Go to Danny to present what I'm doing. So, but in order to do that, you need to have a content theme that is pretty, one-dimensional. It has to be something that is really unique. You have a specific needs, but not too short. It has to be a bit narrow, so you can allow more people to come in. So I started with websites, then I showed mobile apps, then I started talking about Web3. I started talking about NFT projects. So going from the digital marketing universe slowly to the Web3, all things digital kind of universe, right? And that's how people came to me. I never reached out to anybody about brand deals. Everybody came to me because they were seeing my videos. I had a period that I got tons of videos going viral. I have 4 billion views of my videos in 1 year on TikTok, 4 billion. Leaving aside the views that I get from videos that are being stolen or copied from other creators and are being shared on other platforms. So I take that aside. So only on TikTok, I have 4 billion views. So you can imagine that everybody who has a startup or a marketing platform or a website, they have seen my face on this wall. Reach out to me. They say, how can we work together? Some people we work, some people we don't work, but that's how it's done.
Yeah, I had someone from Facebook reach out, and they was like, "Oh, I want you to do some videos. You're up against someone else." Now, normally I curse Facebook because they drive me mad. So, it only took them a minute to go through like some of the older reels where I'm saying Facebook is shit, but I have to use it. And they was like, "I don't think you're a good fit." But I was like, "There's going to pay me like 7K per video for like one reel," and I was like, holy shit, I'm definitely not making the most of this stuff, man. Like, so what I love about that is being intentional with the target and the focus. And then naturally those brands, those products, if you're showcasing them, they're going to want to work with you anyway, because they're starting to see that this is where attention is. And it's going to be a lot cheaper probably to get eyes on that way. Or it's just an alternative route to get eyes on.
You start becoming an authority on the thing that you're trying to advocate about, to talk about. You become the authority right now. Yeah. So it's a no-brainer. Maybe you're going to have a TV show. I had people from TV stations in Greece reaching out to me saying, you know what, we want to have you as a person in a digital show. Or now the biggest retailer in Greece reached out to me and said, we are creating a TikTok account. We want you to be the face of the brand in Greece. Nice. So the opportunities are endless. I had a video game company came to me and they asked me to become the voice of a villain in the video game. So you see that, the more you create a persona, the more you build your digital footprint, the opportunities are endless. And you don't have to have the endless opportunities in your head. Just have one of them and focus on one, and the other one's, gonna follow you.
Nice.
My consulting business is getting more leads out of my personal brand because people say, Konstantinos probably knows something. Let's talk with them, right? And I always see that within my content, because I have so many different things to talk about, rather than websites and mobile apps, etc. I tactically put some videos out that are a bit more sophisticated, covering my experience, talking about what I've done before, so people can really understand and nurture them towards the understanding of, this guy knows, this guy is a marketing expert the last 20 years, so we need to work with him. And that's how I feed also my agency, my consulting business, and my courses, apart from the branded deals.
So this is key. If you're listening to this is key, right? Because there's so many people will go on to these platforms, and I've done it. You just create because you want to create for yourself, right? You or you think what people want, but actually there's other funnels, right? There's like, so I don't know what percentage, and I'll ask you, what percentage are the ones where intentionally you're trying to get new eyes onto your account? What percentage is like backstory where you're building trust? And then what percentage is, specific, like sophisticated videos where they're going to learn? Because ultimately you're moving people through a funnel, right? Like ultimately they're getting their eyes on, then they're learning something maybe tactical, then they're building trust and loyalty with you because they like what you're about. All of that's intentional, right?
Yeah, of course, it's intentional. And that's what I teach also in my course, that your content needs to have two angles. The first one is the recruiting content, the content that brings new eyeballs on your platform. And the second one is nurturing content. So the content that really gets the greatest fans of yours towards your marketing, a step further to your marketing funnel, towards conversion, towards what it is, or becoming more loyal, right? And right now, the discoverability rate on any platform is huge. So the ability of creators to build a following is insane. I had a guy that was a student of mine on TikTok, and he built a massive following, like 500,000, and he was banned for a while from TikTok. He used all the videos that he had, putting them on Shorts, on YouTube Shorts, and his YouTube channel exploded. I haven't seen that before. From 10, 15,000 followers, subscribers, to 350 within a month. I haven't seen that again. Wow. Which means that YouTube also is replicating the formula, the aggressive growth formula of TikTok that Instagram already stole, right? And now YouTube is doing the same. So it's the easiest ever to grow a community, not the easiest way ever to engage them and nurture them and make something out of it. Because that's the goal, right? We're businesses, not just creators.
Nice. So, okay. So what, anyone listening to this, obviously, listen, one, go and buy the course. If you're listening to this and you like what you're hearing, go and buy how much is the course?
The course is for now on a discount on AppSumo. It's like $99.
Like, that's ridiculous. Firstly, so go and buy the course. Like, go and buy the course. Go and get speed. Right? Go and get speed. That's what these courses do. Is they give you the information so you can either affirm what you already know, which will give you confidence, or you can learn faster. Then you can deploy the tactics in the platform. So go and do that. So what percentage would you say, if I was starting out on TikTok or YouTube Shorts or Reels, what percentage would you say is like recruiting content versus, I can't remember what you said the other content was, but do you just say just nurturing? Do you just say just get consistency first? Just go consistent first and then start playing around with tactics?
Yeah, you need to build the momentum first, I believe.
Without giving away too many gems, by the way. I know.
No, it's okay. I have endless gems there, so I'm not afraid of that. So the balance can vary, from month to month, from week to week, from whatever you feel like, from the periods that you have more to share or less to share on each of the fields. But you have to be a bit tactical about, how you nurture your community, your content, your audience, even in the comments section, even answering their questions, even by creating videos that it's only for your mutual friends. For example, on TikTok, many people do that. They create videos only for their mutual friends to send a message, to say something only to them. So I think that, should be like 60% recruiting content, 40% nurturing content, something like that. But you can play, like you prefer, how you feel, how your content creation agenda evolves. Because I believe very much, and you covered that a bit at the beginning, that we give a good direction, we give a guidance. I share the things that worked for me, but every personality, every personal brand, every person out there is different. So people might resonate more with my face and my character and the way that I talk, or with you, or with none of us, and can do that with somebody else. So your uniqueness and your personality plays a huge role. Doesn't mean that if you do exactly what I did, the result's going to be exactly the same with me. You can never be me, and I can never be you. You might be more attractive than me, like actors, right? You see an actor, you love them. Some other actor, you don't like their face or the way they talk or the way they walk. It's the personal factor is really important.
Yeah, and
But
lean
you
into
will
that.
you will never understand what is the case for you if you don't try it.
This is the problem that I have with on Instagram mainly at the moment. It's just full of bullshit. A lot of it is like even Michael Janda posted about this. It's like someone will read a book and post something. They haven't done it. They'll post about it. Then someone else will see that post, copy it, and then some poor sod wherever is taking that for gospel. Like that's the real thing. And it's almost like this Chinese whispers of nonsense. Like if you're starting to create content, you have to, like, from a place of you either understanding fully or having done it or used it, for me personally, because otherwise you're just regurgitating shit. If I'm being open with you, like you can regurgitate and put your spin on it, like you can give your opinion on something, right? But don't take everything you see as gospel. Don't see it as gospel. Like you might take 1-2 gems out of this, go and try it, put your spin on it. Don't take the whole thing as gospel. Take it with a pinch of salt, right? And I don't think people do that. They see it as like, that's gospel. I have to copy it word for word. It didn't work for me. It's like, no, just take the gems out that like resonate and go and deploy that with your authenticity, your style, your what?
Unfortunately, stupidity, the stupidity index goes up year after year. The less people think, because things are becoming easier for them. Information is getting more overwhelming. It gets easier to get. The more stupid people become. So whatever they see, they get it, and they believe that that's it. And on the other end, I can pretend to be an expert by just lending info and content from others. So I can copy your post, then I can go to Dan Walker, copy the other one, copy the blog post from Neil Patel, and suddenly I'm an expert and might grow a following. And start selling courses. But I want to believe that, people are not the core of your fan base. They're not stupid. They know, because they follow you every single day. They see what you're saying. You share your personal stories, things you've done, and they can understand if you're full of love or not. If what you're sharing is real, if you have done what you're saying that you have done, or you're just superficial creator that just goes from virality content to virality content, just focusing on how gonna get viral. I don't care about anything else.
No, spot on. The stupidity index. I'm going to use that, man. I'm going to use that. That's brilliant. I like that. I'm going to put that on a quote. Right. So listen, lastly, let's just jump in a few questions, because naturally a lot of the people that follow me, or they have an info product, or they have a course, or they're thinking about building a course and running ads. Now, I don't think you've run ads to your courses. I think everything's done through your organic growth.
Yeah, it's only organic. Yeah.
So at what point did you create your courses? What point did you start creating your courses and start selling through that?
Yeah, so to be honest, I didn't have the intention to create a course. Teachable reached out to me. They wanted to partner with me and offer me the opportunity to help me create a course, because they saw the TikTok success, let's say. And I said, okay, why not document whatever I've done, put it, in 3-4 hours of videos, step by step, whatever I believe that, somebody should do when they enter the platform, in order to monetize and build a brand in that. And I built that, within a week. I created the videos. For me, the most successful part of the course launch was my pre-selling. So I pre-sold the course without even having it ready. And I did 30% of the total revenues of the course
How did you
today.
pre-sell it? How did you go about actually pre-selling it? Was it just in your story? Like, did you create content? Like, how
Yeah,
did
it was. I did a couple of posts on Instagram, a couple of posts on TikTok, some stories on Instagram to showcase that I'm building something, my first course. I showcased this, my studio and everything, that I'm recording something. I was showcasing my results on TikTok, so people were really understanding that, this is something that comes from a personal experience and not just by me having a joint and coming up with ideas. So they knew that, I will share something useful, because that's what they have seen from me, from my content, and that was the expectation also that they were having from my paid content. So that's how I built it, and then I just did a couple of videos again. So to be honest, I haven't pushed it as much as I should. So right now I'm thinking about trying to put some paid ads in the equation and build a funnel to see how it goes. But everything was organic, just me mentioning stuff, some stories, talking about that in my lives, having some posts pinned on my profile about that, having them in my link in bio, just organic stuff. And from the traffic that I had, which was too much.
So this is the biggest thing that I find course creators do, right? There's a couple of things. They just stop investing time, money, energy, recording all these modules and videos without even knowing, one, without having an audience already. That's the biggest no-no. And two, without having any sales or pre-sales. So you're going to invest all this energy up front. Like, you wouldn't do that with a website. Most people, well, I'd like to think course creators wouldn't do that with a website now. They invest all that time, money. They know that they need to get people to it, right? So why are you acting like that with your course? Like, you have to pre-sell this thing, test the hooks, test the warmth for the audience, then go, actually, this isn't worth spending 40 hours on or 30 hours on or whatever it is. So make sure you have a pre-launch and test. But that, would you say it's fairly honest that if you wasn't in the position you was with your personal brand, there's no way you would have made those sales?
No way. If I didn't put some marketing effort behind it, because to be honest, I didn't put any marketing effort. So doing, one post per month to remind the existence of the course is not a marketing effort, right? It's like you have an e-shop and you never post about your products. You cannot do that. But for me, the course of my entrepreneurial journey was different. I didn't want to become too salesy about my course. Doesn't work very well. It hurts your other content as well. And at that point of time, I had other revenues from other sources that was a priority for me: the branded partnerships, my agency, my consulting business. So the courses was something extra for me. I was like, okay, good month, good, but it's not something that I want to focus. Now, I believe that, this can be a really, really serious business for me. So the academy part, I'm creating something else right now. I launched my second course last year, my income course, which is a book. It's not a video. It's in written. And now I'm going to create a digital marketing course that many people are expecting me to do, because I'm all about digital marketing. But I have to automate that, build the academy, do it differently. So I will experiment in a different way on that. Nice. I like it. Right. Last question from me. So, by the way, I've loved this convo, man. I've learned so much about you as well, man. Like, such a good to hear the backstory and the journey. So I have no audience. I've got less than 2,000 followers across all platforms. I want to make my money via online selling courses. What would you say, like, I should do? Do I focus? Firstly, what platform should I focus on first? But what would your advice be to me to, like, get results? Well, for me, the first thing that you need to focus is that you need to create a course that really has a reason to exist, that really solves a problem, that really brings people from point A to point Z. That's for me the main idea about any course. How can I take you from point zero? Like on my course, I take you from no experience on TikTok to hitting millions and monetizing that following. That's my promise on my course, right? So first of all, make sure that your value proposition is good, it's solid. because you don't want to have somebody, getting your course and saying, this was crap. This was, basic stuff that I could Google and find in an hour. After that, if you believe that you have a good course and you're starving for results, try some paid ads. Create a funnel, create, a series of videos to promote it, a long video to build awareness, a short video to build awareness, a longer one to nurture people for the second stage of your funnel, some other, remarketing, short ads, and go to a professional to create a funnel for you with some paid ads, right? This can work if you have the right price point. This can work passively for you. Easy. Now, the other way to do it organically is if you have an email database, it's golden. If you have, people that are waiting to get a weekly mail from you, it can help tremendously. And then we're going to the great organic machines, which is TikTok, Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts. So try to create content around the course topic. Don't get greedy. Start, the first video be, I just got my course out. This is great. Take it. Nobody gives a fuck about that, right? You need to give something. First, you need to prove your case. You need to prove that you can give some kind of info for free before you ask for money about that. You need to earn it. You need to earn those dollars that they will invest in you. And make a mixture of things. Don't. For me, if you go after, if you put all your bets in one number, it's not going to work out for you. Have the expectation to sell courses, but don't make it your first priority. Make your first priority building an authority, becoming the ambassador of your industry in a way, and other things want to come easier.
So true, man. So true. And if you do the course first, if you spend time building the course first, because you've invested time, money, energy, you then become biased in how you put content out, because you're like, I need to make sales. It puts pressure on you making the sales.
Very true. Very
so
true.
If you flip that and don't chase the money, chase the attention, chase the value, pump that back into the marketplace, your audience will tell you the course that they actually need, because it might not be the one you're creating.
Exactly.
So, and would you say to focus and split your content across shorts, reels, and because the one thing I'm jealous of about your content, one is how it looks easy, but like you do it in a to me an efficient way, right? You talk over, you're on the screen, you can do like 10 of those a day if you really wanted. I've got these cameras out, lights. I'm like, shit, I need to get another concept because it's not sustainable. So, but by the by, would you choose content that can be distributed to all three, or would you say TikTok's for me still the best to grow on? Like, what would you say?
TikTok for me is a must. You start with that, and you allow it to become your direction to whatever you're gonna do. So when I exploded my Instagram as well, I did nothing for Instagram. I just repurposed my content from TikTok. That was it, without the watermark. Zero effort on top of what I was doing already. So all my focus was TikTok, how to make a video perform great on TikTok. And I didn't even have Reels enabled for me back then on Instagram. We got Reels in Greece like 1 month ago. Another reason why I hate Meta. And my focus was that. Then I took my videos from TikTok, I posted them on Pinterest. Now I have like 60,000 followers on Pinterest and 6-7 million views per month only by repurposing my content. Reposting, actually, not repurposing. And then on LinkedIn, and then on YouTube Shorts. And it's easy. But as you said, you need to find an efficient way to create videos consistently, especially if you don't have this habit yet. If you don't have this habit yet, it's not realistic to me to tell you, you know what, 3 hours per day you're going to spend for creating videos. It's not going to happen.
No.
Never going to happen. Never.
Nope. It's such good advice, man. Such good advice. And is it last one? Is it just you? Because a lot of people will put the excuse in there that you need a team. They see Gary V posting, I don't know, 3 million pieces of content a week and go, well, he's got Team Gary, right? Like, is it just you that does the distribution? Have you hired people to help you? What's your it?
my team is 25 people, so we're 25 people, but they do nothing for my videos, nothing. So they just repost them in other platforms, but the creation part and the idea generation part of the video is only me. Only me, and the editing part. Because how can I ask for somebody to edit my video and then do the voiceover? Because I do the voiceover. I mean,
it's
or
probably
I don't
the
even
best
know what I'm
investment
gonna
of your
do.
time. It's probably the best investment of your time anyway, because you know what the payoff, right?
Exactly.
And guys, like, you can find assistants that can repost a piece of content for you. That's not an expensive part. So if it's that part that's the excuse, then it's not one, because you can just go on Fiverr, Upwork, wherever you want to find a great assistant that can just do that for you. Lastly, where can they find you? You've mentioned your course, which I think is a must if people want to grow on TikTok. I think I'm going to go and buy it now, because I've hit 10K by reposting from Instagram, but I want to learn some new strategies and tactics. But yeah, where can people find you? Yeah, this is a little plug.
I think that if they search for Simply Digital, they're gonna find me everywhere. So it's Simply Digital on TikTok, simplydigital.gr on Instagram, but still I'm gonna appear if you search for Simply Digital. My YouTube channel is Simply Digital as well. Pinterest, my website is simplydigital.gr, and in my Instagram and TikTok you have a link in bio, and you're gonna see all the info you want there. My CV, my website, my courses, everything is there.
Mate, it's such a pleasure. And listen, I wish you, I will be in contact anyway. But guys, follow, enjoy the content. You're gonna get. I've literally got a folder in my saved on Instagram of softwares. It's probably about 50 pieces of software in there that I probably will never use. All from your content. You have your own folder in my Instagram, I'll say, because I like, oh man, that software is the best. It's not good if you like shiny objects.
I know that's something that I get all the time from people. And for me, the greatest proof when you become a really attractive creator, is somebody who really adds value to people's life consistently and they know it, is that people save my video without even knowing what exactly going to happen. They save it before. So this is the ultimate proof that they trust that something good is coming. So become this kind of creator if you want to have great results.
Create shit that's savable. Man, love it. Legend, thank you so much, mate. I appreciate it.
It was a pleasure. It was a pleasure. I loved it. Thanks for the great questions, and we'll be in touch.
Legend. Take care.
Take care, buddy. Bye-bye.